the Cuddly Kobold, and today I wanted to do a sketchbook tour. The only problem is, I don't have a sketchbook. Uh, I'm a digital artist by trade, so while I do have a physical sketchbook, I haven't really used it in a while. I mostly use Procreate and Clip Studio to do my art on, and I thought I wouldn't be able to do a sketchbook tour till I saw iOops do a digital sketchbook tour. So I thought that was a wonderful idea, and I wanted to show you guys some of the drawings that I did way back when for my D&D games. And in case you're wondering, D&D is short for Dungeons and Dragons. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to it. I've played for about 4 or 5 years, and I've also DM'd, DMing being short for Dungeon Master. Dungeon Master is someone who is over the game. They run the game, they create the world, they run it for players. It's stuff like that. And right now I'm using Millinotes, as you can see. I really like it. It's good for collages and storyboarding. Right now I have my D&D right up here. And right now I have the free version, which is pretty good. I probably would pay for the paid version if I used it more, but I don't. So it's great free though if you want to try it out. Hashtag not sponsored. But yeah, let's get into it. So on this side here, I have the player characters that I have played. They are my personal characters. Each one has their own story, and we will get into their stories today. On this side, we have other character art of other characters in other games, of friends that have played them. So let's start with this blue girl here. Now, this blue girl's name is Bliss Joy Dancer. She is a paladin of the goddess of joy and dancing. She loves protecting children and the smiles of children everywhere. She especially loves children because she was an orphan herself and was picked up by the church and was taught magic and to be a paladin. Uh, her shield here looks like that because she allows children to draw on it, and she loves that and uses it frequently. Although she has to wash it off because blood gets on it. So every time she goes into a town, she goes to an orphanage and gives out candy and has them draw a new picture on her shield. But again, this is old artwork. I made this back when I first got my tablet, which was probably 2 years ago. And before that, I had used Paint Tool Sai. And having the tablet was such a joy. It was so much easier than using my Wacom. It was a Wacom Bamboo, and it wasn't one of the ones with a screen on it. It was just a regular pen sensory one. So you had to look at the screen as you draw instead of looking at what you're drawing directly, which was super hard. So I upgraded to a tablet. And it's been great so far. I used Procreate, and this was one of the first drawings I did on it. But moving on. Now, this character is special in my heart. Her name is Thess, and that is short for Theodosia. But she hates Theodosia. She feels like it's too stuffy, so she shortens it to Thess. She was a bard, and like I said, she was one of the first characters I ever played. And she was a joy to play. I made a lot of mistakes. But you do that when you're a first time player. You know? The DM was really great about helping correct my problem areas. And I really enjoyed playing her. She, at the end of the story, she ended up having her own guild hall, where she had also casino blimps, and she had a family at the end of it, which we will discuss later because I did art of her kids. Uh, but yeah, she was a lore bard with a silver violin, and her father was a pit fiend. So she is actually not a tiefling in the original sense where it's not by bloodline, but it's by a curse or something like that. But she is actually directly related to a devil. So that's it for that character. Now, the other two characters I have on here are both kobolds. And I love playing kobolds. I think they're just so neat. And I love the old kobold where you have grovel instead of the newer one. So I like the legacy one better. And I usually play the legacy kobold. But this one here on this side right here, her name is Songbird. And she was named by a red dragon who would send her off to perform for people. And then she would assassinate them as soon as their guard was down. So she's not actually a bard, she's a rogue, but she presents as a bard. And she was really good at her job. She has high performance skills. And she carried around juggling balls that were actually daggers. And as you can see here, she's riding a wolf. And this wolf is actually another player character, Druid, who would frequently be a wolf, and she would allow Songbird to ride on her into battle. So that was a really fun time. I haven't been a part of that game for a long time. I ended up quitting because I just had a lot going on. I was in like 5 different games, and I had to trim games out. And that just ended up being one of the games that I had to trim. But I enjoyed it while I was in it, and I really enjoyed Songbird. Now, this one is a very interesting kobold. Her name is Ripclaw, so named because she had her face ripped. She has a little scar here, and by a bear, and she ended up killing the bear, earning her fame in the kobold clan she was in. But she ended up leaving the clan because she wanted to give her daughter a better life. And she's one of the few kobolds who actually cares for her younglings. And now she's a druid adventurer, saving up money to buy a house and land so her daughter can grow up on the upper lands in the sun instead of being down below in the ground groveling before a dragon or whoever's in charge. And I really loved her. Her daughter ended up being a sniper in the end because we were in a game with a gunslinger. And he made guns, and he made her a sniper rifle, and she ended up being more powerful than Ripclaw did. She was an NPC, so that was very interesting. I don't draw kobolds like this anymore. By the way, this one is also, all these are years old. Like this one of Thess up here, I did on Paint Tool Site. I know for a fact that I did years and years ago. And it's just a different art style than I have now. I appreciate the art style I had back then. It is very pretty, but I don't really like the kobolds I have here. I feel like it's very rudimentary, and I prefer the ones I draw now. But moving on, we have in the middle here is Thess again, and I'm going to zoom in. Here we go. It's Thess again, and she's with her crew, the Night Guards. Now, I will say this. These two over here, Eric and Pavel, their players did not stay very long in the campaign. They were there for only a couple sessions, and they ended up leaving. So I don't actually remember much about them, other than I did this art for them. Now, Roscoe stayed till the end. He was a human gunslinger, and he had slithers, and slithers was an awakened winged snake, and he was very intelligent. It was so funny just having this winged snake be there with a band of intelligence. But yeah, they were a tight crew, And we had other players join us, and they stayed till the end. And it was a very nice and emotional ending to the game. It lasted a year. And we've actually been with the DM. I'm the only original player left of this crew of four. And I've been with the same DM in his worlds for about 4 years now. And he does a fantastic job. And I just love being a player under him. And we're currently doing a new campaign where I play a halfling rogue, Rose, and I'm having tons of fun. Maybe I'll do some artwork of her and show her off later. But yeah, that's that picture. Now, this one. So, Thess ended up marrying another player character. He was a gnome, and they had twins, Polly and Leia. And we actually ended up playing Polly and Leia, me and the guy who played Thess's husband. We ended up playing Polly and Leia as characters in the next campaign, and they were fun. Polly was a sorcerer, and Leia was a druid, and we had lots of fun that campaign. And this girl, Roscoe, also ended up getting married and had a little human girl. And this little black dragon plush. So the story behind this is it's made of actual black dragon hide. And the story is that when Thess was pregnant with Polly and Leia, they fought a black dragon. And the black dragon ended up hurting Leia. And Leia ended up hurting Thess. And Thess proclaimed, "I will make a crib out of your bones and a toy out of your skin." And the dragon laughed. And that was the last word he had because another player character killed him with one hit, basically. So, yeah, she ended up making a crib from his bones and this plush out of his skin. We killed a lot of dragons in this game, and it was a load of fun. And over here, you may notice that I have two drawings of the same Dragonborn. His name was Tynoth, and he was in the game that we had last year. And I did this art for his player. And I played this lady in the middle here. And basically, I played Sylvanas, and she had an ancestral weapon. And an ancestral weapon is a homebrew book where you get this ancestral weapon and it gives you spirit points. And the spirit points you can spend to make your weapon interesting. So I had this really OP bow. She could shoot three times a turn. So she did on average over 60 damage, usually. And she was a ranger. And it was very cool. She was a Gloomstalker ranger, so she did a lot of damage. And this is actually a child. He's not halfling or gnome. He's a child that we adopted because this character here, Lawrence, was based off of Witcher lore, and he adopted this child as he was adopted. So that was a very interesting time. It was a very dark campaign. Like, I retired Sylvanas early in the campaign. Well, not early. Towards the end, I retired her because as much as I had fun doing damage, I didn't enjoy her personality that I had made for her. So I retired her, and I came in. I don't have artwork right now of her, but I came in with Sparkles, the kobold wizard. And I'll talk about Sparkles some other day, but I had a lot of fun. And so this drawing is actually a drawing from a campaign that I ran. He's not a player character, he's an NPC. And these kobolds are just really fun. It was part of a mining group. And basically the game was about them heading west. It was a Wild Western theme one, and they were heading west. And they were on this wagon trail. And the whole game revolved around them meeting wacky people and protecting the wagon train. And these kobolds were a part of the wagon train. And this dragonborn, I cannot for the life of me remember his name. This dragonborn was over them. And yeah, they were just goofy fellas that what helped the wagon train and gave everybody food poisoning basically on one day. And there you have it. There's my little D&D sketchbook tour. Maybe next time I'll have more current drawings that I've done. I just wanted to nerd out a little and talk about my characters and have a little fun. And I hope that you enjoyed this and you enjoyed my art. And I will see you guys next time.